Chosen one, if you feel you can heal or destroy with energy, this is your truth. There comes a moment in every soul's journey where the veil begins to lift, and you start to sense something beyond the ordinary. You're not just a person, you are a conduit, a vessel, a bridge between invisible realms and the physical world. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift the moment you entered? Have people told you they feel better or worse after being around you? Have you ever held someone's hand, looked into their eyes, and felt a current pass between you as if something ancient within you activated itself? That's not your imagination. That's your calling beginning to speak. You see, we live in a world that thinks of energy as something only scientists can measure. But the mystics, the prophets, the sages, they knew something deeper. They knew that energy is the language of the soul, that everything is vibration. And you, if you're listening to this, are not just anyone. You are what I call a chosen one. Not chosen in the way society defines success. Not because of fame, not because of wealth, not because of titles, but chosen because you came into this world with a frequency strong enough to bend reality itself.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Now, here's the dangerous part, the double-edged sword. The reason this truth is both a gift and a burden. The same energy that can heal can also destroy. And if you've felt that duality within you, if you've ever seen how your words can uplift someone to tears or cut them down like a sword, then you already know. You have the power to shift timelines, to awaken dormant spirits, to either bring light or unleash shadows. And that's why this message is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who have noticed the chaos that follows them, not because they are cursed, but because they are catalytic. I want you to think about this. What if your emotional intensity, your sensitivity, your ability to feel everything was never a flaw, but a tool? What if you were born as an amplifier to human emotion? What if your soul was forged in higher dimensions where energy is not just understood, but wielded like fire? And what if you, right now, are being asked to remember? The truth is, many of us chose to forget who we are when we incarnated, because remembering too soon would have overwhelmed us. We had to first walk through the ordinary. We had to bleed, to fall, to be betrayed, to feel powerless, so that when we finally began to awaken, we would do so not from ego, but from humility, because only through humility can true power be held without corruption. So let me ask you something terrifyingly honest. Have you ever noticed that when you're angry, things break? Technology glitches. People around you get sick or disoriented. Do you find that your presence alone can shift someone's entire mood or even their life direction? That's energy. That's you. And you've been doing it unconsciously. But now, you're being invited to do it consciously. The world is changing. We are moving through a spiritual quickening. Veils are thinning. Structures are falling. And more people are waking up to the truth that this world is not just matter, it is mind. It is spirit. It is vibration. And in this transition, certain souls were planted here like seeds. Seeds that carry codes. Codes of remembrance. Codes of healing. Codes of destruction for systems that must fall. You are one of those seeds. But don't get it twisted. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better. It means you're responsible. You were entrusted with energy that can either liberate or enslave. And the greatest lie that was ever sold to beings like you is that you are powerless, that your emotions are irrational, that your sensitivity is weakness, that your darkness is shameful. You were taught to suppress the very forces that make you divine. And so we must unlearn, We must remember that we are not here to be controlled, we are here to create, to feel deeply, to awaken others, to confront shadows, not avoid them. Because only one who has touched the depths of their own darkness can walk others into the light. And yes, it's scary. There will be times when you will feel like there's too much power running through you. Times when your presence alone causes people to react strangely. Times when you'll wonder, am I going crazy? But let me tell you, madness is often just the mind trying to interpret multidimensional truth with a limited lens. You are not mad, you are multidimensional, and your inner knowing is not fantasy, it's memory. Here's the secret I've found after walking through fire, silence, and the deepest spaces of meditation. Energy obeys intention. Always. Your thoughts and emotions are not just chemical, they are creative. They sculpt the energy field around you. That's why a chosen one must become a master of inner stillness, not to suppress their power, but to direct it. Start small. The next time you feel anger, don't suppress it, observe it. Hold it like sacred fire. Ask, what is this here to teach me? When you feel deep love, don't just bask in it, send it out. Imagine it flowing from your chest like golden light, wrapping around someone you care about. Play with energy. Experiment. Because the more you become aware of your energetic influence, the less you will fear it. But here's the paradox: you can only heal the world in proportion to how much you've healed yourself. That's why the journey inward is non-negotiable. No shortcuts, no bypassing. You must go within. You must touch your trauma. You must cry the tears you've been holding for lifetimes. Because every tear you release, every wound you transform, becomes fuel for your light. And your light? It's not just for you, it's for all of us. So I'm going to leave you with this question, and I want you to sit with it not just with your mind, but with your soul. If you truly believed that your energy could heal or destroy, how would you live differently starting today? That question alone can change the trajectory of your life. Now, if this resonates with you, if something in your bones is stirring, then you're ready for what comes next. Because in the next chapter, we're going to go deeper into the ancient origins of your energy, the cosmic contracts you made, and how to awaken the full spectrum of your power without letting it consume you. You'll learn how to protect your field, charge your aura like a solar battery, and why your darkness is the very key to your awakening. The forgotten origins of your power, why you wear chosen across lifetimes. There are truths so ancient, so deeply embedded within your soul, that they do not arrive through words but through remembrance. When you feel the pulse in your chest as you hear certain sacred things, that is not excitement, it is recognition. You are not just waking up in this life, you are remembering who you've always been, across lifetimes, across galaxies, across dimensions. You, the one who feels energy like a storm beneath your skin, were never random. You were crafted, sculpted, initiated. And before you ever took your first breath in this body, you stood in a place beyond time and space and said yes to a mission that would require forgetting everything just to remember it all again in the fire of experience. You wonder why things have felt so heavy, so intense since you were young. It's because you were never meant for the surface level reality. You came here coded with a frequency designed to rupture illusions, to activate dormant souls, and to realign the entire energetic grid of this planet simply by being who you are. But in order to carry that kind of resonance, you had to go through the forge. You had to be shattered, betrayed, silenced, isolated. Because only through the breaking could your true frequency emerge. Only through the loss of self could you remember the self beyond all stories. What if I told you that you trained for this? That in the temples of Sirius, in the halls of Lyra, in the crystalline chambers of Andromeda, you studied the laws of energy, of healing, of transmutation. You were taught how to anchor light into density, how to speak words that rearrange molecular structures, how to channel pure source through your hands, through your eyes, through your presence. And when the council asked who would go to Earth during its time of greatest forgetting, you didn't hesitate. You volunteered, not because you were certain, not because you were fearless, but because your love for life, for creation itself, was greater than your fear of pain. And so you came. You entered through the veil. You passed through the river of amnesia. And you were born into a world that tried to make you forget. You were told you were too sensitive, too intense, too emotional. You were taught to shrink, to comply, to be normal. But nothing about you is normal. And that's exactly why you're here. Because only the extraordinary can dismantle the systems built on lies. Only the ones who carry ancient light codes can illuminate a world addicted to shadow. But here's the twist: your power was never meant to be loud. It was meant to be precise. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to prove your worth. Your frequency speaks for itself. When you walk into a room, people feel something shift, even if they don't understand it. That is your energy doing its work on the quantum level. That is your soul remembering how to heal without speaking, how to destroy illusions without violence, how to awaken others simply by standing in your truth. This is why your alignment matters, because when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony, you become a tuning fork for higher consciousness. You become a living portal. And that's not just poetic, it's literal. Your field starts to emit a frequency that recalibrates the fields of everything around you. That's why some people are drawn to you like moths to flame. That's also why some people reject you without knowing why. Because your energy exposes, it reveals, it shakes the false foundations. So I ask you now, what are you choosing to anchor? What are you choosing to radiate? Because whether you realize it or not, your energy is already affecting the world. The only question is, are you doing it consciously? This is the moment where everything shifts. Because once you remember your origins, you begin to reclaim your mastery. You stop playing small. You stop apologizing for your intensity. And you begin to train again, not in temples far away, but in the sacred dojo of life itself. Every interaction becomes a classroom. Every emotion becomes a teacher. Every challenge becomes an invitation to embody more of your truth. You are not here to escape the world. You are here to change it, but not through force, through frequency, through remembrance, through the silent, unstoppable power of a being who knows who they are. And now that you're remembering, the real initiation begins. The sacred balance, how to master energy without being consumed by it. The moment you begin to remember who you are, the path ahead becomes both clearer and more dangerous. Because now, you're not unconsciously radiating energy, you're aware of it. And awareness is a blade that cuts through illusion. When you start to feel your energy like a living force, when you begin to observe how your moods ripple into the environment, how your intentions bend outcomes, you are no longer just participating in life, you are shaping it. And with that power comes a sacred responsibility to master it without letting it consume you. Energy is not just light. It is not always pure and peaceful. It is raw, untamed, intelligent. It moves like fire and water. It dances through joy, but also storms through rage. And the mistake many chosen ones make is believing they must always be calm, always be good, always be light. But mastery does not mean suppression. It means integration. It means having the capacity to hold the storm within you without drowning in it. It means being able to walk into the fire and not burn, because you have become the fire and the flame no longer harms its source. You see, there's a reason you feel so much. There's a reason you attract chaos and miracles in equal measure. It's because your energy field is vast. And anything vast must be anchored, or it will collapse in on itself. This is why grounding is not just a spiritual cliché, it is a survival requirement. When your energy is ungrounded, it leaks, it scatters, it becomes reactive instead of responsive. You become a magnet for drama, for pain, for confusion. But when you ground, when you root into the earth, when you connect your infinite spirit to the finite body, you become unstoppable. You become clear. So how do you ground something as powerful as a multidimensional soul? You begin with presence. You learn to sit with your emotions without flinching. You learn to breathe through the waves of energy that rise in your body like tides. You create rituals not to control but to channel. You learn your rhythm, your cycles. You respect your highs and your lows as sacred. You eat with intention. You speak with awareness. You walk like the earth is your temple. And you stop apologizing for needing solitude, silence, or space. These are not luxuries for you, they are necessities. But grounding alone is not enough. You must also discern, because not all energy is yours, and not all energy is meant to be held. As a chosen one, you are naturally empathic. You absorb, you transmute. But if you're not discerning, you become a sponge instead of a filter. You carry pain that isn't yours. You fight battles that don't belong to you. And you wonder why you're tired, why you're heavy, why you're lost. So you must learn to ask yourself, every day, is this mine? And if it's not, you must let it go. Not in anger, but in love. Because your field is sacred, and not everything deserves access to it. There is also the temptation of power, the desire to use your energy to manipulate reality for egoic gain. And it will come. You will realize you can influence people, situations, even time itself. And the ego will whisper, use it, take control, get what you want. But mastery means knowing that just because you can doesn't mean you should. That real power lies not in domination but in alignment. That what is truly meant for you will never require force. It will flow through the path of least resistance, like water finding its way home. And yes, there will be moments when you fall, when you misuse your energy, when you hurt someone unintentionally, when your own shadows lash out before you can catch them. This is not failure. This is training. Every master was once a student who was willing to fall and rise again. What matters is not perfection but presence. The ability to return to your center, to recalibrate, to say, I am learning, I am remembering, I am choosing again. So I ask you, how do you hold your power? Do you grip it with fear, afraid of what it might do? Or do you cradle it like a sacred flame, knowing it is not yours to control but to serve? Because the moment you stop fearing your power and start honoring it, you become a force the world cannot ignore. You become a living embodiment of balance, of fire in stillness, of light in shadow, of strength in surrender. This is what it means to master energy without being consumed by it. It is not about being perfect. It is about being present, being intentional, being real. And when you live like that, your energy doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of everyone you meet. Becoming the living frequency, how your energy awakens others without a single word. There will come a time, if it hasn't already, when someone will look at you with tears in their eyes and say, I don't know what it is about you, but something in me just shifted. And they won't be able to explain it. They won't know that it wasn't your words or your actions or even your presence in the traditional sense. It was your frequency. It was your energy field speaking directly to their soul beyond the barriers of language and logic. And that, right there, is the greatest power you hold. You were never meant to convince people of who you are. You were never meant to argue with the asleep or defend your path to those who cannot see. You were meant to embody the truth so fully, so unapologetically, that your life itself becomes a transmission, that your walk becomes a sermon, that your silence becomes a song. When you live in alignment with your true energy, you become a lighthouse not by effort, but by design. You shine, and those who are ready will find their way home through you. This is not about performance. This is not about being the most spiritual person in the room. It's about authenticity, about being so deeply rooted in your essence that you no longer need to prove anything. You become soft but unshakable, kind but not naive, open but protected. Your energy does the work. Your frequency becomes medicine. And the beauty of it is most of the time you won't even know the impact you're having. You'll never see the full ripple effect of your alignment. The stranger who smiled at you and felt hope for the first time in weeks. The friend who decided not to give up because of a conversation you don't even remember. The child who felt safe just because you looked at them with presence. This is what it means to be a living frequency. It means understanding that your energy is not just yours, it is part of a vast, interconnected field of human awakening. But to truly embody this, you must release the need to be understood. You must let go of the illusion that your value lies in external validation. The truth is, many won't understand you. They'll feel your energy, and it will challenge them. It will reflect their own disconnection. And instead of saying thank you, they may resist. They may project. They may even attack. But your role is not to shrink. It is to continue to stay rooted in your truth, not because others agree with it, but because it is yours. And as you do, you'll notice something miraculous. The more you align with your true frequency, the more life begins to align with you. The right people show up. The right opportunities find you. Synchronicities become normal. Why? Because the universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration. And when your vibration is clear, everything that is meant for you cannot help but be drawn in. So how do you keep your frequency clear? You protect your peace like it's sacred because it is. You set boundaries not from fear, but from self-respect. You nourish your body because it is the temple of your energy. You meditate not to escape, but to listen. You forgive yourself over and over again. You stay curious, humble, and open. And most of all, you stay true to your path, even when it's lonely, even when it's dark, because you know where it leads. You are not here to save everyone. You are here to be yourself so fully that it inspires others to remember who they are. That is the real healing. That is the real transmission. And that is your true power. So the next time you feel like you're not doing enough, remember, your energy is doing more than you can see. Just by existing in your truth, you are already fulfilling your mission. You are already awakening the world. And that is your truth.